Welcome to the Pain-Free Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Dana Jones. I am a certified personal trainer, and I'm here to help you achieve your fitness goals without pain. In each episode, I'll share tips and strategies that will help you stay safe and pain-free while you're working out. I'll also interview experts in the field of fitness and pain management. So if you're ready to learn how to stay active and pain-free, then subscribe to the Pain-Free Athlete Podcast today. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Pain-Free Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Dana Jones, and today I am joined by my special guest, who is from the great state of New Jersey, Chris Toto. Chris is a primal health coach specializing in helping women aged 35 to 60 overcome the debilitating symptoms of Hashimoto's thyroiditis, the leading autoimmune disease in the world. After conquering his own battle with Hashimoto's, Chris developed a step-by-step program rooted in evolutionary science, nutrition, and lifestyle changes. With over 17 years in alternative health, Chris has empowered hundreds of clients to eliminate fatigue, brain fog, and chronic pain, enabling them to restore vitality and enjoy life again. As the founder of the Primal Italian and creator of the Hashimoto Solution, Chris is on a mission to help 10,000 women reverse autoimmune symptoms by 2030. Welcome, Chris.
Welcome. Thank you very much for having me on, Dana. I appreciate it. I'm very excited to talk to your audience about Hashimoto's, health, wellness, and maybe a little corollary between being an athlete and having an autoimmune disease, having Hashimoto's. I've spent, like you said, 17 years of my life, first as a massage therapist and personal trainer, working with a lot of athletes in the New York City, Hamptons area, overcoming chronic pain from overuse injuries, helping them overcome exhaustion, physical limitations, so they can start doing what they love to do, whether it be athletic endeavors, dancing on Broadway. And now my story has brought me to being a health coach and helping women with Hashimoto's. Created the Hashimoto Solution, kind of a 3-step system to help women break the cycle of exhaustion, brain fog, chronic pain, so they can wake up fully energized, focused, and ready to take on the day. I can't wait to talk to you. It's been fun in the pre-meetings talking to you, so let's just dive right in.
Sure. So how did you figure out that you had Hashimoto's?
My 40s sucked. I went from, in my 30s, a fun-loving, outgoing, athletic massage therapist, personal trainer, worked out, ran, swam, surfed. To my face, I was angry. I was depressed to the point where I had suicidal thoughts. I had no energy. I was losing my hair. I had vertigo so bad that one time crossing the streets in New York City, I collapsed. My wife had to pick me up and help me cross the street. I went through 8 major surgeries for chronic pain. It was a tough 10 years, kind of condenses into 10 months. But I found out, like I went to doctor after doctor, and all they want to do is either cut me open or give me a pill.
What did they want to cut you open for?
2 ACLs, a medial meniscus repair, slap tear repair, deviated septum, triple hernia, and then fusion at C7T1. The only one I think I probably really had to have was the fusion for a herniated disc I suffered when I was 39 years old that would keep coming back periodically and disappear right before I get surgery. It's like in the insurance, of course, oh, the pain symptoms are gone. No, we're not going to pay for the surgery. Long story short, my wife got cancer due to being around the pile after the towers fell from 9/11, and she developed thyroid cancer. So as she was going through her journey, she noticed a lot of the symptoms that she was dealing with, I was having. Extreme exhaustion, unexplained weight gain that I couldn't get rid of no matter how hard I worked out. I blew up from 185. I was 233-ish and not a svelte 233. So she struggled finding, when she had her thyroid removed, finding a doctor that would prescribe her the right medication. She finally found a wonderful doctor in the Upper East Side, told me to get my stubborn rear end up to see him from New Jersey to New York. So I did. And then I remember to this day, like just sitting outside his office after we met, just crying my eyes out on 3rd Avenue and 92nd Street because he told me I had Hashimoto's, an autoimmune disease that I needed to take medication for the rest of my life. Probably get worse. My thyroid was probably going to stop working. Most likely was going to get another autoimmune condition sometime during my life. And hopefully we'll have medications to be able to manage that. That's how I found out. Then we got me on a natural desiccated thyroid, which is one of the best things. And I got lucky because he started me on that instead of a synthetic, because my T3, which is the active thyroid hormone, in my test was so low. I started getting my energy back. He also put me, which I wish I didn't do in retrospect, but at the time it was great, it was testosterone replacement therapy. I mean, I basically can't pass any drug test anymore. And other side effects, like I'm sterile from using it for 3 years now.
Wow.
But yeah, they don't tell you about that when you go on testosterone therapy, that you have a good chance of going sterile. Not that I want kids, but anyway. But I got my energy back. I had my testosterone levels were, when I was 50, when I got diagnosed, with the levels of an 80-year-old man. So now they're normalized. My thyroid medication got my hormones normalized within 6 months, but I still couldn't lose weight. I was still having vertigo. I was still having mood swings. I was still having a decent amount of symptoms. And then I started reading The Primal Blueprint by Mark Sisson and The Genius Life by Max Lugavere at the same kind of time. And it was just kind of dawned on me like an epiphany after reading this, that like our lifestyles, my lifestyle in general, got me into this mess. But, my lifestyle can get me out too. So within like reading the books, I had already quit gluten, but I quit dairy, I quit soy, I quit eating processed foods. I'm Italian. I quit freaking eating pasta, pizza, bread, mozzarella, all of it. And it sucked for about a week. And then the symptoms were gone.
Wow.
They just disappeared. The weight came off within 8 to 12 weeks, I'd say. I lost 30, 35 pounds. I introduced intermittent fasting. I was never hungry. I never really had any cravings. And then my wife and I decided to invest. Instead of taking a vacation, we bought the tonal and we bought an infrared sauna. So I started sauning every day to detox, and I started working out. I put on, say, 10 pounds of muscle within a year. And now at 53, I'm moving and grooving almost as well as I did in my 20s, but I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life since high school.
That's fantastic. So how's your wife? Because, I mean, obviously, at least what I understand of autoimmune diseases is that there is definitely a correlation with stress. And it's chicken or egg, right? It's either the stress causes the Hashimoto's to be exacerbated, or, the Hashimoto's causes you to be more susceptible to stress, which creates all kinds of bodily pain. And that was a pretty significant thing because there's some emotion around 9/11 and what we did to everybody who was there, the first responders, everybody who was there. So on top of that, and then she unfortunately gets cancer. So how is she?
She is great. She is also in her mid-50s, and she is rocking it. She is now the same weight as she was when we first met in our early 30s. She works out 4 days a week. She moves and grooves. She just got a promotion at work. She works on Wall Street in finance. She's kicking butt.
That's great to
hear.
And
it was, she is living life to the fullest, and we work off each other. She makes me proud. She inspires me every day through the battles she's gone, because I've seen her like when she couldn't get out of bed, to the point where, and then she had thyroid storms, turned white, passed out. We didn't know what was going on. No one tells you anything about thyroid problems. I didn't know.
What is a thyroid storm?
So a thyroid storm is when your thyroid kind of gets damaged and releases too much thyroglobulin into the bloodstream. So you automatically go really hyperthyroid. So you get the sweats, you get jittery. Imagine drinking a whole pot of Starbucks coffee. like that and just everything starts shaking. You get white as a ghost. You get the spins. Yeah, your bowels kind of open
Everything, your
up.
body goes into
Everything.
massive fight
Yeah,
or
just
flight. Yeah.
yeah.
So how long does that last? Or is it just an episode where it's like 30 minutes?
It's like 7 hours
All
because
right.
your body has to work through that thyroid. I had one. I thought it was a COVID attack. I had a thyroid storm on Christmas Day, which is my wife's birthday. And I was stuck in bed, just spinning around, couldn't stop. And I think that was 2 months before I got diagnosed. Yeah. So it's horrible. And you definitely feel like you're going to die and there's nothing you can do.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's
So
really horrible.
we've been both of us have been at the depths of horrible health, and both of us have completely changed our lifestyles and our diet and everything around to where we feel like we've just begun life again and getting good. And we're so, I don't know if you could say looking forward to our 60s, but we're not afraid of our 60s and our 70s. And we embrace getting older
Yeah.
instead of fearing it.
I haven't quite decided how I feel about that, but I guess I don't really have a choice. If I'm going to be alive, I'm going to eventually hit my 60s, and then we're going to see how it goes. So you take your information, right? You have this now. You were able to dial in your stuff and figure out what worked for you in terms of a diet and working out and the proper medication. How does this relate to what you're doing right now? Like, how are you able to kind of make it so that the normal everyday person could get this information?
I mean, besides posting on social media and everything and trying to give as much information out as I can, I have the program that between what I did, what I've read, all the information that I've gleaned, the webinar, the classes I've taken, blah, blah, blah. I created like a program that starts someone in the beginning, lowering inflammation levels, getting rid of the toxins. It's basically a 3-step program: remove and restore, rebuild and revitalize. Remove and restore is remove the toxins, restore your balance, get rid of inflammation. Rebuild is detox the liver, fix the gut health, rejuvenate the adrenals. And then revitalize is getting movement into your life, getting your sleep adjusted and optimized, working on stress management techniques, getting sun, um, increasing nutrients through supplementation, detoxing, do whatever the individual needs is where we go.
Okay. Well, that sounds, I don't know. It sounds like a good direction to head in, but how would I know if you got lucky because, well, in an unfortunate way, you got lucky because you found a good doctor? How would someone know if they had Hashimoto's, like, as opposed to, say, I'm a female who's already feeling those things and I'm perimenopausal? How do we know the difference between Hashimoto's and perimenopause? Because a lot of those symptoms kind of align.
Yeah, and a lot of my clients are going through both.
Okay,
So
that sounds like.
there's a simple, I mean, there's the blood tests.
Mhm.
Get for your audience, it's a TSH, free T4, free T3, total T4, total T3, reverse T3, and then like a nutritional profile like vitamin D, vitamin B12, your iron levels, like a full CBC panel. But the first tests I mentioned will see what your thyroid's doing. Um, and a lot of times, if your thyroid's acting up, it'll increase your perimenopause symptoms. It'll make them worse. It'll kind of exacerbate them.
Yay.
Yeah. And then just know if you're not feeling well, educate yourself on your body, on your health, read some books, do some research on thyroid problems, because your thyroid affects everything in your body. Every single cell on your body has thyroid receptors on it. It could be, and the symptoms are varied. Like you could have psoriasis or skin disease or not skin disease, but skin issues. You could be losing your hair. You could be having anxiety and mood swings. You could have really bad digestion. All of those things can be tied into in a vicious circle, but tie into your thyroid. So you need to know the tests and then keep switching doctors till you find one that talks to you. I've heard so many horror stories, and I don't know what happened to the medical field about them firing patients because they wanted to have questions answered, or they just gave me a pill and told me to come back in 6 months. They just said I had mental problems and I needed to go see a therapist, and here's anxiety pills, or here's an SSRI. It's like, what? One of my clients came to me, they were on 8 different medications, didn't know it, didn't know what they were all. I'm reading them like, wow, this one says it causes anxiety. This one says it causes depression. You have anxiety and you have depression. They say they interact together. Has any of your doctors talked to you about this? No. I'm like, it's all in your chart. It's got to be in chart. Everything's computerized. I don't like everything in the world. I believe that there's 80% good and 20% bad, and you have to find a good doctor and don't feel bad about firing your doctor if it's not working out for you.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing, because I know for me on my journey, that was the most empowering thing that I learned, was the fact that I have the ability to get rid of you because you're not serving me. And I think women probably, I don't know. I feel like society as a whole really put a lot of emphasis and give a lot of power to our medical professionals. It may or may not run in the category of they're just human too. And you have some fantastic doctors who will go, I have a gynecologist who's amazing. And the fact that she chose to sit down for 45 minutes and talk about how I was going to handle my perimenopause symptoms was fantastic. And I felt heard, and I will never, ever, I will follow her until she retires. I've had other doctors who, like you said, who have thrown pills at me and said, come see me later. And I'm thinking that this is serious and I need somebody. And you're just saying, well, I checked you off. And so, based off of what your symptoms are, this is what the protocol is, and have not, I think, heard my needs, or at least made me feel heard. So I guess it goes into the question of, you're a dude. You're probably not the only dude who's had Hashimoto's. Why have you chosen to work with women, and where did the number of helping 10,000 come from?
Helping women is mainly because of watching my wife go through her thyroid issues and cancer. And also that Hashimoto's affects, for every 100 people with Hashimoto's, 77 of them are women. And women by 2030 felt like a stretch goal that was still reachable. And that if I could help 10,000 women by that time, the ripple effect of those women and their families getting better, or them teaching a friend or a coworker getting inspired to increase their health from watching that woman get healthier and overcome her Hashimoto's, could really kind of make a difference in a short period of time. So that's where that kind of like a little audacious goal that was still, I could have picked $1 billion, I guess, but
That's awesome. So
and then
go ahead.
And I like talking with women. I like hanging with women. I always have. I'm an only child, and I always gravitated towards women. So it made sense for me.
That's great. That's great. So you talked about changing your diet up and leaning more toward a ketogenic diet. And I know for me, we've talked a little bit about it, because ketogenic can be a little dicey when you're an athlete. There has to definitely be some kind of balance. And I think your body really needs to make that shift to fat burning for it really to be successful. Otherwise, it's just a crash and burn situation. Right now, so many athletes are given these sugary things. For me, as a triathlete, we have sugar, even for runners, right? There's all those little sugar chews and goos and such that are giving us these little, 100-calorie bombs every 30 minutes or so. How is that, if I'm somebody who has Hashimoto's, how does that play into my situation?
Well, you're increasing inflammation on top of your training. Every time you're having those little sugar bombs, your blood sugar is spiking, and then your insulin's rushing in to take that blood sugar and put it into your cells or to use as energy. So, and every time you're doing that, no matter how in shape, how skinny you are, you're creating oxidative stress. You're creating free radicals. So if you keep doing that over and over and over again, you're adding on inflammation after inflammation, and your training, which is creating more inflammation. So, and then say you go home after training and you go out to dinner as a woman, and then you put on some makeup, you clean your face and everything, you're putting more chemicals on, and your body's using that and your liver's detoxing that, creating more inflammation. Say you might have the MTHFR gene variation, like I do. You're not able to methylate and detox certain things, so the inflammation never gets out of your system, and then suddenly your immune system says, "I don't like you anymore. I'm going to make a mistake and attack your thyroid, your joints, your myelin sheath, your stomach, your colon, your heart, your skin, something." It'd be much better, like I kind of followed Mark Sisson on this. He was a triathlon, a marathoner, almost Olympic level. He went to the Olympic trials, at least. I know that. And he was doing the same thing, and he burnt himself out. And then once he switched to becoming, and not fully keto, but fat burning, which takes about 21 days to shut your sugar burning genes off and turn on your fat burning genes. He was able to train less and increase his time, because your body learns to use different fuel sources more efficiently. And when you burn ketones, fat, such, you're not creating inflammation. It's a very clean fuel source. So it's actually better for your body, for your training, for your recovery to use those than to be using those sugar goos that are, let's face it, they're just marketing gimmicks that, like,
Well, they're portable, and
but you can
that's
get
how.
portable ketones too now.
Oh yeah, that I have never tried. Not that I mean, I was keto for a while, and then I went carnivore. Then it just, certain types of diets work for certain people depending on your needs and a lot of times your genetic origin. And that's something that I learned through just various research, is that depending on where you're from really depends on what your body needs. And that if you're from the Nordic countries, a lot of times that keto diet is fantastic. It just really is, because that's how your ancestors were raised. So you just love living off of fat and it works great for you. And if you're somebody who's more Mediterranean, it may not work 100% because of the fact that you do need a little bit of vegetables, certain types of vegetables. So then you have to go from that carnivore diet more into the keto diet. Obviously, none of our ancestors ate wheat thins or anything that was boxed or in a shelf somewhere in
And
some
that's the
big
big
box
thing.
store.
Eat plants and animals, and no matter what and animal products like butter or ghee or plant products that aren't put in a box.
Yes.
Don't eat grains for the most part, and you're good to go. And like, my feeling on all the diets is I like to kind of compare diets to like training. Like, periodization is a big thing. Go
Mm-hmm.
keto for, let's say, 2 weeks or a month for part of your life, then switch to maybe carnivore for a little while, then go maybe a little heavier with healthy carbs for a little bit, and then keep changing it up. That way you get, over a full course of a year, you're getting all the nutrients you need to thrive. And you're also allowing your body to be adaptable, so it can switch.
Right. Instead of having one diet and just sticking to that diet and not, it may not be serving you, but it's something, because I notice a lot of people do get stuck on stuff where this is the diet I'm eating the same thing every day. And your body does need variety.
Yeah. There are certain people with certain autoimmune conditions or other chronic conditions that do really well on an elimination diet. And for them, that's great. If your symptoms are gone away and you're thriving, go for it. Like, totally cool. But for most people, you need a variety. If you do 80% plants and animals and then a little bit of healthy mixing up of other things, you're going to be good to go.
That sounds great. So what are some key takeaways that you'd like people to leave this with? Like what is some information that you think will be valuable to them?
First of all, educate yourself on your health. I think too many people, like we were talking about earlier, give their power away to the medical community in general. And you're in this body all the time. It's the only thing that you're with 24/7, 365 days a year. Learn what's in it, learn how it works. That way you can have educated talks with medical people, with your trainers. If you choose to have a trainer, with your coach, remember you can heal no matter how sick you think you are right now. You can get better. The human body is amazing at healing itself, and always strive to just get 1% better than you were the day before. And you just keep building on that little by little by little. In a year's time, you won't recognize where you were last year.
That's great. How can we get in touch with you?
We can get in touch with me at theprimalitalian.com, on Instagram and Facebook at theprimalitalian. In the show notes, there will be a link towards my masterclass, all talking about Hashimoto's, and gives a little bit of case studies and how a person with Hashimoto's can start their healing journey. And just follow me. So
Well,
thank you
Chris,
very
thank you.
much for having me on. It was a
Hey,
pleasure.
thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it. This is good information for everybody to have because, as we get older, things start popping up, and it's good to know that there are experts out there.
There are. Yes, we are out there. And if you're an athlete, good for you. Fight the good fight. Be an
Keep
athlete
moving.
for your whole life.
That's
Never stop.
awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.